Gents, we are back. Round of 16, Armchair Pundits World Cup special. We're up to episode 8 now. And boy, a lot more talking points, a lot more drama, some certain individuals stepping up to the plate, certain individuals disappearing into the dust, and international careers over. We break it all down. So we'll start off France, Paraguay. A lot of drama in this game, more drama because of the behavior of the Paraguayan players in terms of how they dealt with France, but France prevailing with a 1-0 win, courtesy of a penalty by Mbappe. But the story of the game is more about the lack of discipline from the Paraguayan players, the lack of the referee dishing out any cards for the Paraguayan players and all of them going to France. And obviously the fallout from comments towards Mbappe by a certain Paraguayan senator. So gents, lots to take in there. First of all, your thoughts on the game, and then we'll go into the other bits after.
Paraguay did what I thought they were going to do and literally just stink the joint out. They just came to be, there's a difference between being difficult to beat and just being ugly, and they just were just ugly, man. And some of it was borderline unprofessional because they were just going out to just kick players, and the ref let it happen. He let it go. I can't imagine that France were the first team to get a yellow card, considering how many times they got kicked. And some of those fouls were just nasty. It was late. It was elbows in the ribs. It was like, is it that granddad's
to the face, bro? Those punches to the face.
Yeah,
they were just looking to provoke them. Let's be real.
They were, and some of I liked Mbappe's reaction when he was just laughing at them, really, and that seemed to wind them up even more.
Yeah,
it was just, I think the right result happened, and Paraguay just didn't look like they was ever going to score. The only time if they were going to score is going to be from a set piece, either a corner or a free kick, but nothing from open play. Apart from that time when Saliba, I don't know what he was thinking when he's trying to clear the ball, but he's not playing on the right side, is he?
Oh, wow, that excuse. Listen, that game was awful to watch just because of the way Paraguay decided just to make it into a butcher-thon. And in fact, it's even less about them because you can only do what a referee allows you to do. And the referee gave him free reign, complete free reign. And some of the stuff, he was right in front of the penalty. He's right in front of the penalty. How do you not give it in the first place? So thankfully, he had VAR to overturn it and to give the penalty, good penalty. But it was just really disappointing. I didn't think they were going to be as bad as you did, Bevan. I thought they were at least going to try and play a bit because against Germany, yes, Germany aren't as good as France, but they tried to show themselves that they could actually play football. I just thought they'll at least try it. You try it at some point. Like, They didn't try at all. There's not one point in that game when they tried to play football. I can't remember the guy. He had the Ballinger in his hand. He tried to go for everybody. Tried to maim Mbappe at a corner flag. He punched Upamecano in his face. He elbowed Mbappe as he was running past him. And all these things were in the eye line of the referee. And the linesman, assistant referees, whatever we call them. And it was just a shambles. Like, I know some people were saying, because he's from Uzbekistan, was the game too big for him? Because often people say, how can referee from these smaller leagues handle these kind of games? And usually I'm like, but if you're a good referee, you're a good referee. But I think this is the one time where I'm like, you know what? You might be right. This game, it was ordered to do what he did, or this game was too big for him. And corruption has been shown, which we'll talk about further in the pod. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's corruption in that game because there's no excuse for that kind of refereeing that we saw in that game. None at all. Might have not been there. Might as well have not been there.
I'm not usually one for conspiracy theories, but that's a conspiracy theory I can get down with because some of those decisions were obvious. And like you said, the penalty, you didn't need VAR to call that. And some of those fouls are so naughty and nasty that he's just let it go and he's just lost complete control. And for France to be the team to end up with 3 bookings, this seems crazy. Surely he, like, even afterwards, he doesn't book any Paraguayan players for the tackles that they're putting in.
All the melees, everything else after it as well.
Yeah, he's just completely lost control. Completely.
And what do you call it one? Elise is shaking his finger at the guy's face and he gets a yellow card. The guy falls on the floor. It's the same guy I was talking about. Galazzo's the guy. Bruv, it was just ridiculous. I couldn't understand how you... I think they're going to try and appeal it. Because if he gets a yellow card in the next game, he's out of the semi-final.
FIFA are not going to overturn it considering the what we're going to talk about later. But with the foolishness that they did earlier on in the tournament, they're going to set a different precedent. But yeah,
Paraguay, they came to try and stop France from playing. And, you know, for the most part, it worked. But it's only when they went behind that the dirty tactics just became a next level. Because obviously, they're going to do things to try and prevent France from getting on their game. And France, weren't exactly on it during that game. They struggled to create chances until obviously Paraguay had to then at least try and do something. They were able to get a couple of openings, but by and large, they frustrated France. And you wouldn't say, France being the informed team, this was a struggle for them. And it was a struggle for them in 98 when Paraguay played them in the France World Cup then. And it's the same thing. It was a 1-0 win. It was that time, it was in extra time, but Paraguay didn't resort to the same level of dirty tactics that they did in this game. And it was just a pity to see, because there are ways of beating teams. You don't need to resort to that level of antics to try and cause problems. Yes, they are a talented team, France, but we've seen that if you have the right defensive setup, you can frustrate them. And for large parts of that game, Paraguay didn't manage to do that. So it's just when they conceded the penalty, it just literally went from 0 to 100, and it was just, it was really bad. But you have to say the better team won, which was France. And I think by and large, for football reasons, we want to see teams like France go on, because they're going to be more likely to entertain than not. So good win for France. They come out of the game without any injuries, which is a massive, massive win considering some of the antics that will go on. They will go on to play Morocco, who defeated Canada 3-0. A pretty comprehensive victory, but all of the goals came in the second half. 2 from Ounahi, and Rahimi finished off the job in the stoppage time. But you have to say, Canada, I think they've been quite disappointing in this tournament, and will consider themselves a little bit fortunate to have got to this stage. Would you feel?
I agree. I think Canada, they're a busy team, and they tried to stifle Morocco in the first half and tried to close them down quick. But then there was nothing in the final third. There was a distinct lack of quality, and all of the quality came from Morocco. But we've seen enough of Morocco from this World Cup, from the last World Cup, and from AFCON to know that they are well organized and a well-drilled team, and they can weather those kind of storms. And when it's time to have quality, there's enough players in the team to display that quality, and it showed in their first goal. Actually, I think all 3 of their goals were quality.
All 3 of their goals,
all 3.
Quality.
Yeah, top draw goals. And I think that I don't think there's a shock that they beat Canada. I think that maybe that first half, it was like a feeling out process, and in the second half, their quality just showed out. The cream rose to the top.
For sure. I mean, Ounahi is not known for scoring a lot of goals, but both of his finishes were absolute quality. They're going to be missing Saibari, who's injured at the moment.
Yeah.
Rahimi's come in, and he's done a thing for them so far up top. Do we think that they can really cause France a lot of problems?
Yeah, for sure. They can. Because they play football as a team. It's not all based on one person, and if that person doesn't play well, the team doesn't play well. They're a well-drilled team. They haven't lost a game in like 40 games, something close to that. number. So for me, it's going to be a tight game for France. I can't see it being like a 4-1 or something like that. It could even go to extra time. It really could, because some of the French players know the Moroccan players. Some of them played in their leagues. Some of them played in their youth, in the under-21 teams, that kind of stuff. Now, the quality that Morocco have and the defensive stability that they have as well, it will be tough. It will be tough. Probably, is it the best game to look forward to out of all the ties? It might be, you know? Just because of how attacking both teams are. Neither of them
Yeah,
are defensive.
yeah, and obviously the link between France and Morocco. Also, there's a lot of players in the Moroccan team that have played in France. They know a lot. They're familiar with a lot of the French players as well. So I think from a matchup perspective, yeah, I would say it's probably the meatiest tie out of the four ties in the quarterfinals. But yeah, I actually think it's going to be a tight game. We know that Morocco are organized. They have got a decent amount of pace to deal with the pace of trickery of the French team. But the question is whether they can actually lay a glove on France going forward, which
Yeah.
we know that they can cause problems, but it's knowing that they have to set up themselves in a way to protect their own goal because of how much offensive threat France give you with their attack coming from so many different areas. So it will be an interesting matchup. I'm looking forward to that one. And hopefully,
Barker was disappointing. Who do you reckon they'll go with against? Because both of them are teammates of Hakimi. Do you reckon they go with Barcola or Doué? Because Doué came on and he showed the difference between the two is their ability to break down a low block.
for sure. I mean, we know that Doué's got better feet and better ball control than Barcola. Barcola thrives on there being space in behind, and I can't imagine Morocco playing a high line. So I think in this game, Doué will probably be the better option from a low, if it is going to be a low block. But someone like Barcola coming on, and we've seen what he's done when he's come off the bench in
Yeah.
other games. He can cause problems. So I think they'll more likely go with Doué, knowing that Morocco are likely to line up with a low block.
The thing is, whoever they start with, they're still going to have a big advantage because whoever they bring off the bench is going to be quality.
Yeah.
And we've seen it when Doué started. He might not have had the best start to the game. Then Barcola's come on and he scored a goal. And then when they start Barcola, he might not have the greatest game. Doué comes on and wins a penalty, and that's happened throughout the tournament. But that just shows the depth of the France squad. And like you say, I think it's going to be a tight game. But I don't know. I've already said that France are going to win it, so I think that they may have a bit more in. They might just be able to edge it a little bit.
All right. Well, we will see. We will see. England in the Azteca against Mexico, late Sunday night, early Monday morning. Many a man, woman, and child trying to stay up to stay to watch the game at what ended up being 2 a.m., not even 1 a.m. because of the thunderstorms. But England made that wait worthwhile because they managed to pull out a 3-2 victory after being down to 10 men, and probably one of the best England victories they've had in a tournament for many a year. How impressed were you guys with the performance and how they dealt with the conditions, the environment, and the Mexican team?
Very professional performance in both going forward and in defence. I think that Jordan Pitchford watches the pod and he heard what James said and took it personally.
Yeah, bruv.
Because as bad as the goal that he conceded against Congo was, he relieved it with some of the saves that he made.
Yeah.
And you saw this was a game that Gordon's probably had one of his better games in the tournament. And I particularly liked England's second goal where they win the ball back in the final third, early, high up, and then knock it about, and Bellingham's able to get his second goal. And then it was just like going down to 10 men and then still being able to win a penalty and then having that last 10 minutes or having that time where they've got to defend and they just chose to defend. And you can see like they went to a flat back 5 and then 3 in midfield. And with the 10 men, and it was a professional performance, man. Got to tip my hat, really.
Yeah, they did well to ride the wave. We've seen teams switch to a back 5, add an extra defender on, and it's backfired on them. But this time, England brought on the right personnel, bringing on Dan Burn, bringing on Jed Spence, bringing on John Stones. They all came on and made a huge difference, and all made some absolute last-ditch match-saving tackles, really. So you have to give credit where credit's due. Certain players have been, given a lot of stick, but you can see that this team is together and they're united. And as much as you wouldn't say certain guys got left at home, the team that they have or the crew that they have there, they're all about one thing, and that is getting the job done. So fair play, credit where credit's due. To get a big win in that environment, in the conditions, the high altitude. We talked about how many different things could go against them, and they fought through it and got through. So
the mad thing is late last year, early this year, you had reporters saying, should Bellingham even go? Not even should he start. Not even should he be on the bench. Should he even go? Because he's disruptive. He's a great footballer, but he's a poisonous in this camp and all this nonsense. And it's like, seriously? Like, there's never really been much sign of it. You speak to you hear how other players talk about him, and you don't see a hint of that nonsense. Yeah, Tuchel said he chose incorrect words, and I think it was more of his English, his lack of fluent English, where he said that sometimes it's a bit vulgar. And I don't think he used the right term when he was talking about how he can be a bit aggressive with his actions, but they took it and ran with it, and it was a good. Bear in mind, when he was getting his criticism, he was injured. So the talk about his playing poor, he wasn't even playing for Real Madrid. So he was out injured and he was getting criticised left, right, and centre. So he couldn't even back himself. So I'm so happy with the way he's performed in this tournament so far, because listen, he's an elite midfielder. If he wanted to play defensive midfield, he can. If he wanted to play as a 10, he can. If he wanted to play as an 8, he can. And his second goal, the first goal, the movement for the header, where he went left, he went right to the defender, and then just slowed down and then sped up to header it. It's elite, late run into the box. And even just before half time, the clearance he made, which would have been a certain goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah.
Certain goal. Out of nowhere.
Yeah, bro.
He had no right to get there.
No, none at all.
But it's reading the game.
Yeah.
You know what? He's got the mentality of a guy that wants to win, and he shows it. So when they talk about his attitude, he's got the attitude of a winner. Do they want a winner that is what they want? Humble winners. Oh, get out of here, man. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of the narrative that they try to spin with players that are not everyone can be quiet and not everyone can be like, they want everyone to be like Messi, have that same attitude and then turn it on like that. But not everyone's like that. Everyone's different. If everyone was the same, we'd all be called Steve. So like, let him play the game that he wants to be. If his game involves his ego and confidence, that is a part of his mentality to also want to win. And he's the guy that has dug England out of some difficult situations over the last 2 tournaments. So like, why would you knock that? But that's the mentality of like the English press, and that's what they do. They build up these players, and then as soon as they get to a certain level, it's like build them up to knock them down. And like, if he wasn't there, who would be the one to score the goals? Who would be the one to dig them out of difficult situations?
Yeah. You take that fire out of him, you don't get the player. Simple as that. You don't get that true Bellingham. He probably doesn't even make an England squad if you take that out of him.
No, exactly.
Oh.
I don't get it. He's so young, still so young, and he's 23. One of the leaders. You can see it on the pitch. He's a leader. There's guys out there that have played 10 years, and this guy's come on the pitch, and he just shows a different level of guile, of just taking the game by the scruff of the neck. He's willing to take responsibility for his own actions. And, you know, it's always an asset to have someone like that in your team who will do anything to get a win and will be willing to put himself in those positions to score goals and create things. So he's an absolute asset to England, and they need him to have any chance of winning this tournament for sure.
Back four was really good. The last thing I'll say on it, back four was really good considering how they played the previous game against Panama. Konsa and Gurhi played how they've been playing earlier in the qualifiers. And even for Konsa to go to right back, he did a good job at right back. We know he can do it. He's done it for Aston Villa quite a few times. But you're gone.
And say towards the end of the game, he looked like he was enjoying it. He was enjoying what he was doing or what he was asked to do. And if that's what you need, if you want your team to be dogged and win, and to be resolute in a time when you're down to 10 men, it's 2-1, and so it's 3-2, and it's fine margins that like you want the team to enjoy having to fight, and that's going to give. I think that game, winning that game 3-2 would give more confidence than in the earlier games that they played, like the game against Croatia and stuff like that. That's going to give a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
Especially
England
considering
don't win these kind of games. England, this is normally the sad story. England got a player sent off and they couldn't quite, and then they go to extra time and they lose out on penalties. So we'll see. Who they got next, Lee?
They have Norway. They have Norway next, who beat Brazil 2-1. The end of an era for one team and the beginning of one for another. Norway pulling out a 2-1 victory over Brazil. Your boy Erling Haaland with both goals, 2 brilliant, typical Erling Haaland goals, and some typical Brazilian defending to go with it. But honestly, hats off to Norway. People would have written them off, or some people would have written them off, but they had their own plan, and Haaland made sure he delivered. And honestly, Brazil, out their earliest exit since 1990, they'll be very disappointed. Carlo Ancelotti not able to add his little fairy dust to their team, and a certain Mr. Neymar Jr. signing off with a penalty, but a shadow of the former self. Probably was very lucky to go to this World Cup, but I'm sure it was more for political reasons than footballing ability at his current stage or form. So, Norway, what did you make of their performance, and how much trouble do you think they will give England in the next round?
Controversially, I don't think they had a lot of possession, but it's weird. I don't think they were outstanding in terms of great to watch. They were just efficient. And they were lucky. Let's be honest, Guimaraes should score that penalty.
Of course.
They got to stop the starters, man. Stop the startering. Stop it, please. Just take the penalty.
Especially when it's not your team.
What?
I think that's his fourth penalty he's taken.
Nah, man.
So, right,
it's not working.
In your opinion, should he have taken it?
No, Vinny should have taken it.
No, but the thing is, Vinny's missed for Brazil is 2 of his last 3. He's missed 2 of his last 3 for Brazil. And apparently, in the list of penalty takers for that day, he was down 4th, 5th. Because of his things. He's not that good a penalty taker. Even when he's watching for Real Madrid, he's missed a few for Real Madrid as well.
Okay.
So I think Rafinha is their number 1. He was their number 2. And then you had Brazilian Brentford striker.
Thiago.
Thiago was ahead.
Never even got brought on.
Unbelievable. He hasn't seen. When's the last time he saw the pitch?
After the first game, bro.
Yeah, after the first game, he never came back on.
Never came back.
After that,
listen, you give credit to Norway, because if you said this 2 years ago, Norway could do this to Brazil, everyone would have laughed. All they've got is Haaland, but that's not all. They've got who's the winger?
Antonio
Nusa. No, but it wasn't even Nusa. Nusa, it was Sheldrup that came on at half time. But they took off Nusa at half time. I was like, what are they doing? Nusa was doing okay-ish, but listen, Sheldrup got both assists. He came on, and he did his thing there on the left
side.
Yeah.
for Norway, caused absolute problems. I mean,
The battle was lost in midfield though.
Yeah.
and we said that. We said, what midfield pairing is he going to go with? And we said, if Casemiro starts, they're going to have a problem. That's what happened.
Martinelli in there
And I'm
though
not
as well.
blaming, I'm not blaming Casemiro, specifically him, but you can't have him and Guimaraes in that midfield. They just don't have enough legs. They just don't.
Don't you think it was weird playing Martinelli in there though? He wasn't terrible. He wasn't terrible. He did some good things because he's quick. But it just seems weird him in midfield.
Yeah, I didn't get it. But
it was a force.
Sorry?
It was a force trying to make. They were trying to have Vinny, Martinelli, and who was on the right side in the end?
Rayan.
Yeah, they started Rayan this time. It just never really clicked.
It didn't click at all. And even when Endrick came on, his touch let him down.
Bruv.
That is so un-Brazilian. Like, sorry?
It was a glorious chance for him, but it's the type of chance that a sub who's not quite match sharp. I mean, he was in form coming into the tournament, but he hasn't played enough games in the tournament itself. So it seemed like that sort of thing where he was a bit cold, and his touches ended up costing him dearly. And obviously, we had the save from Nyland, which was a deflected.
Oh yes,
clearance from the defender. Is a brilliant stop, probably the best save of the tournament so far from Nyland. But yeah, you have to say Brazil were disappointing. We did say throughout this tournament that they haven't looked convincing. They had a few, convincing scoreline victories, but from a performance standpoint, we never ever felt that this was the same type of Brazil that we've seen in the past. And we know that this is a very European style type of Brazilian team. The samba flair isn't quite there. The personnel isn't quite there. And, it's shown by Norway being able to win this match in the way they did. They sat back for large parts and counter-attacked. And it's the pace and the power that they have in that counter-attack that has led to them going through. One thing I will note is Haaland's second goal. The first one, it's a typical striker's goal, great header. Gabriel, unfortunately, loses sight of him, and Haaland does what he does best, goes in and it's a brilliant header. But the second goal, please tell me why Haaland receives the ball 25 yards out and no one closes him down. He literally has 5 seconds to do whatever he wants to do, and no one closes him down.
He picked his spot. How do you stand off of him? Who said that? Did nobody read the playbook? Did nobody look at? Did they not realize it's Haaland? You can't give him that much time and space and think
it's almost like they said, "Go on, then shoot from there."
Yeah,
bro, he's not a muck.
Yeah.
Bro, you can't tell a man like Haaland shoot from here because he has that power. He has a technique, and you saw Alisson never had a chance. He never had a chance of saving that.
People were criticizing Alisson for not saving it. I was like, come on,
get out of here, bro.
Bro, if that was in the Premier League and a team gives Haaland that level of time and space, they're going to get cussed.
That is just dropping them next game.
Yeah,
bro.
That's unacceptable. They must know that he's capable of that. They've seen enough of him, but nobody closed him down. They just let him have the time and space, and even took step back a yard. Makes no sense. It's poor. But I think it just shows how disappointing that Brazil have been in this tournament. And there's a lot of work that needs to be done. I don't know how they fix it.
Well, out of the old, in with the new. Casemiro needs to go. You need to bring young players like Santos needs to come back in. I'm trying to think. I looked at the lineup and I was thinking there was no attacking midfielder on the bench to bring in. That's why you're paying Martinelli. That's why you're paying Martinelli in there, because the Brazil don't have a Coutinho. You don't have a Coutinho to throw out there. There's no one.
They were going to play is injured. Rafinha's injured. Paqueta's injured.
Oh, yeah. Paqueta got injured, didn't he? He's fine.
Yeah. But even then,
you wouldn't call him a number 10 though.
No, you wouldn't.
He's not. He's not someone he's no magic. He's no magic man. And I'm trying to think. There isn't a Brazilian magic man anymore, is there? That's plays centrally. So they need to find someone. Say again?
Everyone wants to play on a wing.
Yeah. I think it's also the influx, they've said it for a while, the influx of players playing in Europe and getting into European systems younger.
Mm-hmm.
That's just stripping the flair out of some of the players. And they might need to take a step back and start going back into getting some of the Brazilian youngsters and blooding them.
For sure. All right. Well, just thoughts onto the England-Norway matchup. What's your prediction on the game? Where do you see this match being won?
I see it being won in the midfield, and I personally think that England are going to have too much for them. I think England edged this one. As good as that result was for Norway, I still think it was too easy for them, and I think that England are going to have so much confidence from that the Mexico game that it will filter into this game, and I think that they will think man for man. Yeah, you got Haaland and stuff like that, but I think that they will think that they've got enough to beat Norway. Yeah, they can say, well, yeah, you got Haaland, but we got Kane.
Yeah, I make you right. The issue they're going to have is right back.
Yeah.
Quansah suspended. They're trying to get Reece James fully fit, but even if he plays, he's not going to be a 90-minute fullback, is he? Can they rely on your boy Leon as a right back?
But you know what? If they want Spence to defend, he'll be fine. But don't ask him to be bombing and overlapping. He's not great on the right hand side at doing that. He can do that more invertedly, but you don't ask him to overlap because he's not got that attacking mindset that maybe you get from Reece James because of his quality, his ability to deliver across from wide areas. But if you want him to defend, he'll do that. So I do think they can rely on him. It's just that I don't know if he'll rather go with Quansah as a right back and playing Stones instead. I don't know.
Yeah. Stones makes sense though. He'll know. Obviously, everyone should know everything about Haaland, but having trained with him, both of them, to be honest, both having City centre backs against him might actually be a benefit because they play.
Or it might be a benefit to them because they know what to expect from him.
Yeah.
But no, my money's on England.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. On to Belgium and USA and the Balogun scandal. FIFA, Trump, all involved in basically enabling Balogun to play in this game. But Belgium served up some justice for the world by defeating the USA 4-1, comprehensively beaten. USA going home, or they're at home, getting sent packing, and it means that all three hosts are officially out of the tournament.
Yeah. Same time.
Yeah, at the same time. Belgium, I have to say, they dropped two of their main stars, Doku and De Bruyne, and it paid dividends because they absolutely destroyed USA and it looked like they were motivated for this game. So what did you make of Belgium and their recovery potentially and USA going out?
They were better than USA, but USA made it very easy for them.
Very.
Because some of those goals, I think it was the Kurt Alara's second goal, he just bullied Tim Ream. And we've seen the Kurt Alara play through this tournament, and he's never looked like that. At all. He didn't look like, in the games I saw, I don't know, I didn't think this guy could buy a goal. But justice was served in the right way because we always talk about football and politics, and they say politics is supposed to stay out of football. Mm-hmm. So how they have a phone call between Trump and FIFA, can't remember the guy's name now.
Infantino.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and then they overturn it, given the suspended sentence. It should never have happened. But I got this one well wrong because they schooled them. They schooled America, man. But America made their own mistakes. The first two goals are terrible. The second goal, I don't know what Matt Freese was doing. He froze. It was awful. It was attacking.
He heard that song. Everybody freeze. And he froze, bro.
Bro, he literally stopped in his tracks. He actually done well, and then it's like he, as you said, it's
he had a brain freeze, bro. He had a brain freeze. He literally had a brain freeze.
Yeah,
And then Reem, what was Reem doing?
Bro, he shouldn't be able to clear that. He should have been able to
Bruv.
clear it. I'm sorry.
I don't know what I thought America would be a lot better than that.
I didn't. They played them in March, bruv, and they played them at home, and they got whacked 5-1. Like that was a warm up for the World Cup, and they got beat up 5-1. So
By
I
Belgium.
reckon there's a bit of fear. Yeah, Belgium beat USA 5-1
Good
a couple of
knowledge,
months
James,
ago.
because I didn't even realize that.
But if I had known,
So
5-1.
there was definitely some hurt there and some bad memories because
But
they
when
were
you've
appalling.
when you've been in the tournament and you've played in the way that America have played, with the high energy and they've scored goals, they've put 4+ teams, then to play like that is kind of disappointing, especially when you're at this stage of a tournament. In that friendly, if you're playing at home, I doubt that you're going to have the whole nation behind you in that same way, because football isn't their number one sport. But in this tournament, the whole nation would have been behind them. With the fans in the stadium, the fans that are watching at home on TV, there'd have been a certain energy that would have been in the air, and they just didn't rise to the occasion. They completely just fell apart. And yeah, Belgium were better, but as I said, it was a lot easy for them. It was so easy for them to play like that. I don't think they'll have an easier game.
I don't think so either.
They
On
didn't
the
even bring on De Bruyne,
Balogun,
bro. De
Go
Bruyne
on.
didn't even come on.
They didn't need to.
They didn't even need him.
They didn't need him.
Man had rest. But yeah, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, we'll touch on the Balogun scandal and your thoughts on, I guess, FIFA's lack of cojones in dealing with pressure from Trump or perceived conversations from Trump to allow Balogun to play in this game. They've never done it in any tournament before. We obviously know that they enabled Ronaldo to play in this tournament by suspending the red card that he got in the internationals prior to the tournament. But what was your thoughts on how it went down? And do you think FIFA can save face in any way going forward?
I don't think so. I think it looks bad. It looks horrible, because when the referee wasn't allowed, the Somalian referee that wasn't allowed into the tournament, FIFA said it doesn't get involved in a country's, what is it? Oh man, like immigration policy. They don't get involved in the country's immigration policy, and if that's what they say, that's what they say. If they're not going to let him in, they're not going to let him in. But then they get a call from Trump in this situation. Trump talks about it and says he doesn't think it's a foul, and then he has a conversation with Infantino, and then Infantino decides FIFA then decide they're going to suspend him. So how do they let politics get involved then? How do they let a country get involved in their rules? It just doesn't make sense. It looks really bad. FIFA had issues years ago with the reason why Sepp Blatter lost his job because of corruption and things like that. Then it's going to look like a similar kind of thing. It might not be corruption, but it's just not going to look. It just looks bad. It looks terrible. You shouldn't allow a country's president to dictate what your rules are, and if they've never happened before, even if shouldn't have been a yellow card. A red card. If you don't allow that, if you don't allow it to be reviewed, then unfortunately, it is what it is.
Yeah, I think they've opened Pandora's box here, because you're now giving other countries the opportunity to do the same. And that's not saying that they will, and that's not saying that FIFA should, be open to it. But I think it just shows you that they have a habit of changing their tune whenever they feel like. And rather than sticking 10 toes down and be like, no, this is not how we do it, they basically just shrunk and said, okay, we'll give him a suspended sentence. And then Trump made it seem as though, he was he had a great point about the fact that he shouldn't have got a red card. It was a red card. There was no question that it was a red card. No one else thought it wasn't. Balogun knew it was a red card. And, the only way that I guess USA could have saved face, or, their governing body would have been to drop Balogun, but that probably would have had repercussions for them in some other way, especially with Trump involved. You just don't know what kind of decision he's going to make. And he wouldn't have wanted to be made a fool of, which is what they would have done by not playing him. So stuck between a rock and a hard place. But ultimately,
what makes it worse is when Trump actually says, he's able to negotiate in these kinds. He alludes to be able to negotiate and get things done his way. And you just let a bully just bully you. It makes FIFA seem very weak. Well, yeah, sorry. We'll carry on to Spain.
No, you're right. You're right, mate. You're right. Fully.
Well, USA didn't step up to the plate anyway. And Belgium were the better team. They're through. They'll move on to face Spain in the next round after they ended Ronaldo's World Cup career. Finally, his last dance. Spain winning 1-0. A last-minute goal, a late goal from Merino. Ever the clutch man for Spain. Not for the first time. A late clincher and a really, really good finish. Wasn't a fantastic game. Spain dominated for large parts. But disappointing again, Portugal's performance, especially in the midfield. João Neves, Vitinha, and Bruno Fernandes not really showing up the way that we expected them to, considering the seasons they've had for their clubs. And Ronaldo, there was a lot of speculation about his position in the team. He's finally called it quits on the World Cup. Doesn't mean that he's quit Portugal yet.
No, he'll be in 2 years.
But for now, that will be his last World Cup. What did you make of Spain's performance and, I guess, Portugal's lack of cutting edge? James?
Tactical. It's just a tactical battle, man. And I guess we kind of knew it was going to be. And with Spain lacking real wingers, like Bayana, as much as he tried to play wide left, he didn't look
inside all the time.
He can't do it. He can't do it. And you can still see that Yamal is he's still not fully fit. He's not 100%. He's getting there. But at the same time, Nuno Mendes is the best left back in the world. So it was never going to be an easy task for him, trying to go against him that easily. So they cancelled themselves out for quite a lot of it. I think my biggest issue was with Bruno. Like, Vitinha and Neves did what they do. They hustled, they bustled, they got around, easy passes. I say easy, clean passes, nice passes, forward, through the lines. But Bruno was anonymous. He did nothing. And I expected more.
Didn't they have Bruno tracking Yamal? He was trying to help out Mendes in defence.
The thing is, with Bruno, he is, to his credit, if there's a problem, he'll try and help fix it. That's the kind of person he is. So he probably but I think the other two are probably better for that job because he's needed in the attack.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I just think that the Portugal midfield was very disappointing. I think Leao not starting, I don't know why you wouldn't start Leao. He couldn't cause problems. They've lacked pace throughout the whole tournament, and you don't have your pace. And I know they brought him on in the second half and stuff like that, but there just wasn't enough for them going forward, and it was too easy for Spain's midfield to control things. I think it was disappointing with what we thought we was going to expect from Vitinha and João Neves. Maybe they're young and this is a tournament too soon for them. Maybe next tournament they'll be a bit better. And yeah, I think that we've said it before with Ronaldo. I don't say it's just Ronaldo, but he wasn't able to have an effect on the game really. But I just think it's just the way that he was nullified. Spain's midfield was nullified.
One of the issues though, someone posted a video, and to his credit, there were runs he made that they just didn't pass him the ball.
Mm.
He was running, it was going down a channel, it was coming short, and there was amount of times, that's what I was saying about Bruno. The amount of times Bruno put his hand up and say, sorry, just play the ball. That's what you're good at. You're good at spamming the ball, bruv. That's how you got so many assists in the Premier League. You spam balls. So I give Ronaldo a bit of credit and take some heat off his back, because They just didn't give him the ball. They didn't give him anything to chase. And then Martinez, like, Ramos just won you the game. He got you to this position. And he's not in one of your 5 subs. I know you got an injury, so you had to, but you have to have that striker as one of your 5 subs. You hold back one so he comes on. So at the end of the game, you're then relying on, oh yeah, because Ronaldo's our greatest ever, he'll put it through. Stupid. You needed someone who would give you a bit more movement, and then if you want to keep Ronaldo on there because he's Ronaldo, then he plays off him. He's there because he's an elite finisher. But to not have Ramos as one of your 5 subs was just ridiculous. Because, listen, I like his game. What's his face? Former Man City player. I forgot his name now.
Cancelo.
Bernardo Silva.
Oh, okay.
But he wasn't needed. I don't think he was needed.
And he's looking really slow at the moment. He just doesn't look like the same sharp Bernardo Silva that we're used to seeing. So, yeah, I think you're right. It is disappointing, but we have to give credit where credit's due. Spain, that's 6 clean sheets in a row. You both tipped them to be, you tipped Unai Simon to get the Golden Glove, and that prediction looks to be solidified at this current time.
Yeah.
Honestly, Spain have not looked in danger defensively. We know about the possession game. The lack of wingers has been a problem, obviously due to injuries, and they're risking bringing some players that were kind of skirting on the edge of being fit for the World Cup, as in Nico Williams and Victor Munoz.
Munoz. He was on the bench though, Munoz.
So hopefully, they'll get them back. But there'll be a tough game with Belgium. If Belgium come with the same attitude they had against USA, they'll have a chance. But you never know. Spain don't score a lot of goals, James.
Yeah,
they don't. And the thing is, as well, they did have some chances to score goals before.
Lafabal had a great chance, didn't he?
Yeah, Lafabal had a great chance to score. So I think that's what might be the downfall, is their lack of killer up front.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think Belgium have necessarily got a killer up front either.
They haven't. I mean, they're also going to miss Onana, who got a really bad injury. It looks like an ACL injury.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think so. His tournament is done. So that'll be a big miss, because him and Tielemans in midfield have actually been really impressive for Belgium. But I would have to say Belgium's defense is probably their weakest area, I would say.
Yeah.
And the fact that they've got Courtois on goal kind of does help a little bit on that front. But yeah, it will be tough. But I think they're capable of causing a problem to Spain, just because Spain don't score a lot of goals. So we'll see.
Little shout out, Kabasi, 19. He's having a good tournament.
Yeah, he is.
He might be the player. He might be young player of the tournament.
Yeah, he's having a good tournament. He's done it quietly as well.
Yeah,
it's nothing flashy. Just gets the job done.
That's partly because Belgium have been underwhelming up until this point. I mean, they ended up finishing top of their group when no one saw that coming with their first 2 performances, and now they're into the quarterfinals against Spain. So it just shows you how things can turn around in a tournament. So yeah, will be a good game, and we'll see what happens on Friday. On to the last 2 matches of the round of 16. Argentina played an epic battle with Egypt. Egypt going 2-0 up and having a goal disallowed, controversially, maybe, not controversially, depending on how you look at it. But in the end, there's a controversial winning goal for Argentina through
Enzo.
In my head, I had Nico. Like, why am I saying Nico? It's not Nico. Enzo Fernandez with a brilliant header, but it came off the back of what may be seen as a foul on either Salah. Salah one may be soft, but there was a pull in the box before that, which prevented the Egyptian player from getting the ball. I think it was by
McAllister.
Yeah, McAllister.
Argentina through.
Different phase of play.
Say again.
Different phase of play.
What,
You
from the
could
penalty?
argue.
Yeah. I think McAllister one was a different phase of play. Salaman wasn't. I think.
I thought
I think Argentina got the ball back after the McAllister pull, but the Salah one was straight. He got fouled. They went up the other end and scored.
I don't think Salah got fouled, but
Yeah, okay. He didn't got. He heavily exaggerated a light touch. So yeah,
it wasn't enough to go down. It was
That
barely.
wasn't-
I wouldn't have seen that as a foul, but definitely the pull by McAllister. I think that's a foul, and then that should have been given. But they can't go back to that phase, as you said, because it's in a different phase. But Messi missing another penalty. His
half
fourth
of his penalties.
miss in World Cup matches.
Half of his penalties.
That's crazy. The fact that he's had 8 penalties in the World Cup is mad. The fact that he's missed 4 is even more crazy. And the fact that he managed to equalize for Argentina and get an assist as well for Romero's header, showing that he is made of stern stuff. And you can see the emotions after the game. A lot of tears of relief more than anything else, because let's be honest, Egypt deserved to be 2-0 up and probably could have been 3 up if the Martinez foul was not given.
Mm.
Yeah.
0.89%, 36% possession. That's what Egypt had. Expected goals for Argentina was 2.84. 19. They didn't have 2 shots on target. Egypt.
And they scored from both of them. They scored from both of them.
They scored from both of them. So
But do
it
you
would have been
remember?
a classic.
Obviously the penalty aside for Messi, how many clear gilt-edged chances do you remember Argentina having apart from the ones they scored?
None. I'll be honest. When I said in the group at 2-0 that game was over, I firmly believed that game was over because there was no chances that Argentina were created. Egypt looked very comfy in defense, and every time Messi got the ball, they just swarmed around him and didn't give him any space to work any kind of magic. Then they go 2-0 up and implode. I don't understand why you try to play Romero offside from where he was. Just do your job and defend. Like, mark the player.
Yeah, just do it.
Just do your job. I don't.
Exactly. Whereas Roy Keane says, "Do your job."
I can't. I couldn't believe it. And James, fair play. You were right. You said it was not over, and Messi was going to get another chance. And as you said, the guy missed the penalty, then gets the assist to make it 2-1, and then scored to equalize to make it 2-2. And after then, there was only ever going to be one winner.
Yeah,
only going to be one winner. And
Egypt
honestly, the cross by Lautaro for Enzo's header. Oh my gosh! And we say it all the time. How many times do we see a striker out wide? They play the best crosses in because they know what they will feed off, and we've seen it again. Lautaro's ball was fantastic, and the header from Enzo was just textbook. Keeper has no chance. Absolutely no chance. And you have to say, Egypt at that point lost their heads because they felt aggrieved at the fact that the Salah foul wasn't given and the pull in the box was also not given, or just outside the box. But do we think this Argentina team is good enough to go all the way? Following,
they can. Listen, you've got Messi, and they ride or die for Messi, bro. Messi just showed the world, I can mess up, and I've still got time to come back. Give me 12 minutes. Just give me 12 minutes to turn it around. Turn it around, quick 12 minutes. Bruv, he's equalizer. There was no panic. That half volley,
at the end of the game, the way he was balling, I guarantee you that he wasn't thinking about trying to save the day with 12 minutes to go, bro. He was very relieved that his missed pen is not the reason they're going out.
Bro, if you watch it, I think when he crossed it in, after he crossed it for the Romero, he gained an extra step. Like, he was running so much quicker. He was dribbling I was watching the game like, why is he dribbling so slow in this game? Like, up the tempo. He was doing a little thing where sometimes he He slows and then like does a quick pass and then runs. After the first goal, he was sprinting, dribbling like old Messi a couple of times where he ran at people really quickly. And I thought the hunger's there.
That's
He's
it.
now the hunger's there now.
And we've seen Henri talk about it, right? When certain things go against him in games, he does a switch and he switches up. The one thing we know about Messi is his age. He can't do that consistently throughout a game of 90 minutes. So maybe he's preserving some of that until they really need it. But honestly, it's getting to crunch time now. They'll go on to play Switzerland, who've just beaten Colombia in one of the worst games of the tournament so far. 0-0 draw. No team really shone, but Switzerland have ended up going through with very, very good penalties, apart from one horrific one by Manuel Kanji, who skied
the sky roll.
Absolute sky. But credit where credit's due. Switzerland have gone on to make it to the quarterfinals. And
it's the first time since they hosted it years ago, isn't it?
Yeah,
like the
1938.
There's a phase, okay.
Yeah, so very good for Switzerland. Going to be tough against Argentina, but my dark horses are out. Probably, you would say, marginally, were the better team. Probably shaded it going with more chances going forward in the second half. But honestly, we said about the lack of a striker, a clinical bagsman up top was going to be their downfall, and that was the case today. They really did not have any cutting edge up top, and as hard as John Arias, Luis Diaz, and Luis Suarez tried, they could not find an opening.
It's a fake Suarez, bro. It's a Timo Suarez. The Timo Suarez, bro. Mate.
You know what?
He scored like 30 goals for Sporting.
Yeah, but we know what the Portuguese league is like.
We keep talking about the Portuguese league.
Yeah,
it's
bro.
not real, bruv.
No, it's not.
Portuguese league, Eredivisie, you can't guarantee that they're going to be 30s.
But what was disappointing is there were chances that Colombia had, and all it would take is one pass, and they would hit the player. They'd hit the first player. There was such a lack of quality in the final third. It was painful to watch at times. Like when we were watching it, I was cussing. James would have been like, "Geez, what's wrong with Bevan today?" I was kind of mad because I couldn't believe how could you hit the. It was defensively, it made the defenses look good. The defenders it made the Kanji and he was playing with look good because it's just too easy. Sometimes it was just like a simple pass would have put you in, and you're 1-on-1 with the keeper, and you can't make that simple pass. And even when they did get 1-on-1 with the keeper, skied it. Awful.
All it took was to curl it into the bottom corner. He tried to go for top bins. Why? I don't know. I think one of the shocking things, as you were saying, Bevan, is the fact that it wasn't, you know how sometimes there'll be a player open and the player might just pick the wrong option. No. Yeah. He was trying to find a player and still failed.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Yeah. The only thing is that Switzerland didn't have anything in attack.
No. They missed Manzambi.
Yeah.
Big time.
Hopefully it's not a bad injury.
Yeah, I mean,
Davinson Sanchez dealt with Mbolo.
Yeah. But we know Mbolo is not the same Mbolo that we thought he was going to be.
So easy. Yeah. I'd be surprised if Switzerland actually beat Argentina.
Nah, it's not happening.
I don't think so. We've seen. I felt like Colombia would have been a tough side for Argentina to face, especially with the energy they have in their midfield. But now I am thinking that Argentina, realistically, you can see Switzerland kind of playing within themselves, especially without Manzambi. We've seen it in other games which you felt they should have won, that it wasn't until Manzambi came on and changed the game for them that they had done anything. So I can't see them taking out Argentina in this game, but you never know. World Cup has given us a lot of shocks.
No, I was going to say, the only way that I can see Switzerland getting something out of the game is if with pace, because Argentina don't seem to have a lot of pace in attack.
Remind me where Switzerland's pace is.
Ndoye doesn't do enough. Ndoye, he just runs down blind alleys. He's the only one. What's his name came off the bench?
Vargas.
Yeah, Vargas came off the bench. He's not fully fit, so maybe.
And he's not rapid.
Yeah, he's not rapid.
I
And
think
though
you
he's
have to
rapid,
be.
but he just doesn't have it in product.
I don't know if you have to be rapid because I didn't see any. The reason why I say that is because against Egypt today, Hassan had the running when they had the chances that they had. It came from Hassan and him being able to beat players and just use pace to get past them. And when it came to Argentina trying to attack, the reason it was so easy for Egypt to defend is because
they had pace.
They had because they had pace and Argentina had none. It was only when Messi decided that he was going to tap into his reserves that stuff started happening. So I think that's going to be the matchup, and I think that's what's going to make it so interesting going into these last groups of games, is because a lot of teams that there's so many. What the teams that have strengths also have weaknesses, and you can see those weaknesses, and it's going to be how they match up against each other. And I think that's what's going to make that game more interesting than it has to be, or than it more interesting in terms of what the result could be. It's just I don't think Switzerland have got enough up front to beat Argentina.
Agreed. I'll just ask you who you think the semi-final matchups will be based on what we discussed today. I think we've kind of already said it because we've said who we think is going through for each game. So
I'm going Spain versus France versus Spain, England, Argentina semi-finals.
I don't think there's any disagreement there from my side.
No disagreement from me. I agree.
All right. Well, on to the Golden Boot race. Messi currently leads with 8. Mbappe and Haaland are just behind him on 7. Kane's on 6. Alafabal's on 4. Dembele is on 4. And Ounahi and Saibari are on 3. So looking at the Golden Boot race and who your semi-final picks are, who is your money on? We originally all said Mbappe at the beginning of the tournament. Has your stance changed?
I'm going to stick.
Yeah, I'm sticking.
I'm also
I don't know.
sticking.
I feel like pivoting to Messi.
No, I'm not. Because Mbappe can take pens right now.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely not switching on that one.
I'm sticking.
I'm sticking. Every time I've switched, something's gone wrong. So I'm staying where I'm at.
Kane could nick it though, because he can take pens too. Even though he missed one and got a rebound, he can take pens too. Kane could nick it.
Could. Well, it's going to be interesting. That is all for now. We look forward to the quarterfinals. They will start on Thursday. For once, we actually have a break, which has not happened at all this tournament. So I don't think I've ever wished for a break in football in my life, but this week I'm glad we've got a break. But
you guys have told you that, bro. You guys have done every episode. This is all 8 for you two.
Yeah, it's been a bit mad, but we keep going. So I just want to thank you all for sticking with us. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, leave your comments. And yeah, you'll see us on a few extra platforms now. So we started uploading to Spotify, to Apple Podcasts, to Amazon Podcasts, and you will also continue to see us on YouTube. So please follow us wherever you can and keep watching. And until then,
Comment.
we'll see you later.
Peace.
Bye.